Hi everyone and welcome. The talk, you thought you had that in your teenage years, right? You get to do that again. But I want to caution you before we really start. You hear a lot about the child becoming the parent and the parent becoming the child. I want to caution you on that because your parent will always be your parent. They are never your child. They may act childish, they may act like someone that hasn't been your parent or your experience of your parent, but they are always your parent. So I caution you when people say that the parent becomes the child and the child becomes the parent. That's a myth. You are always the child. They are always the parent. So keep that in mind, and I'll talk about that as we go. A couple of other things. Emotions. Emotions are at play. We say this quite a lot around here. When it's your parent, all bets are off. Even for those of us that have been in this business. Because when it's your parent, you see your parent as a different person than everyone else does. Because you've known them all your lives. You know what they used to be and what they are today. Sometimes that's different. So, two real big emotions, denial and guilt. So denial, people get very afraid of things and they say, oh no, it's not time for the talk because mom just forgot her meds this week. She couldn't just find her keys. And we deny it because on our behalf, we don't want to see our parents be something other than we've known them all our life. On a parent's behalf, they are large and in charge because they're your parent. It's what they do. It's what their job is. So they too are in denial. So I tell you, embrace denial because denial gives you time to adjust to a new reality. So denial is not a bad thing. It's just buying you some time. You've got to work through it, but it's on your side. The other is guilt. There's all sorts of religions that'll talk about guilt, and this and that and the other thing. You have to know at the end of the day that you have to put your head on a pillow, that you've done the right thing, no matter how hard or how easy it is. At the end of the day, you have to have peace of mind. That's true for your parent, and that's true for you. So guilt is a real tough thing. You have siblings that you work with, spouses. When it's about spouses, I think it's about 10 times more difficult than when it's a parent. But those emotions are going to come to bear through the entire conversation. So own them, know them, work through them, because the talk is still the talk. So what do you first start noticing? Again, the keys. Everybody in this room has misplaced their keys. Every dementia talk I give, the first thing people are thinking about when I start talking about things is, oh my God, I've got it, because I can't find my keys, right? Things you can do to combat that is putting them in the same place all the time, right? Get in habits, in schedules, and routines. That's always helpful in the short term. However, you start noticing maybe they drove to the wrong place and they cover it up. Oh, I was going to CVS, they're at Walgreens, right? Oh, they were going to church, but they missed their service because it was on Sunday and it's Monday. Little things start to accumulate. When you start to see those, use those as an opportunity for communication. Doesn't have to be the time for the talk. The talk isn't one time. The talk is a series of conversations that you have when an opportunity presents itself. So, oh my gosh, I forgot to take my meds today. So ask. So how are you managing that? Is it working for you? That pill box that's worked for the last 3-4 years, that's not working anymore? Is there something out there that can help you a little bit longer? You start talking about things so that it's comfortable to talk about stuff. You have parents, you have two groups of families. You have the ones that the family members in charge, no matter what dad said, it always is going to be this way, and you have the patriarch of a family that says it's always going to be this way. That's hard to chat with, right? Then you have the other ones that are just going to do whatever you say, and that's a wonderful thing, but they still don't want to, none of us in this room want to be told what we can't do. When you're of a certain age, that's all you hear. You can't cook anymore, you might burn something. You can't drive anymore because you're not safe. You can't. From soup to nuts. So what we want to try to do is focus on what you can do. Build on that as long as you can, but in the process, have a conversation. so that you can be in that conversation with the parent. Because when you get those patriarchal, it's only going to be my way or the highway, then you put them in charge. Use who you've got, right? So put them in charge. Say, okay, this is what you want to do. Let's lay out our options. Because we live on the Space Coast. There's a few engineers around here. They are pretty large and in charge, and they have a list. So let's give them a list. Let's work on their list for them, with them, alongside them. And then you'll find that decisions aren't quite as hard as you thought they were, because the person is in charge. So I really want to emphasize communication, because at the end of the day, it's about someone's peace of mind, your peace of mind, their peace of mind, and being able to know your options. Planning ahead, going to see independent living, going to see assisted living, going to see a smaller house, talking to a realtor, talking to people, coming for lunch. Put all the options out there that you can, because the conversation isn't one talk. It's a series of conversations. So thank you for letting me be here today, and I'd love to answer questions later for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.